All right, everyone, welcome back to another review episode of Waiting in the Sky. Today, we are going to break down Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Knuckles. And I couldn't do this on my own because we have the iconic Sonic trio of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And so, of course, I had to bring in a little bit of backup for this one. So we brought Aaron Winston back, and Richard is going to hop into this review as well. How's it going, guys?
Oh, it's going.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just got back from a trip in which I was able to catch a showing of Sonic 2. So there's a few things I don't know about some of the actors. That's I haven't had time to really look into it, but I definitely love the film, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But happy to be here, TJ.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you both joining me. This was a fun one. I think that's kind of we'll everyone's gonna figure that out anyway. So we generally all three of us are pretty positive on it. So I'm excited for this conversation. Just kind of general spoiler-free impressions before we really break into the movie. I personally liked it. I thought the story made sense as kind of a follow up to the first one. I think they do a good job of not taking everything too seriously, but also, not everything is a joke. So I think they do a good job of kind of finding that balance throughout the movie. So that was something I appreciated, especially for a video game movie. And I know Aaron and I are going to have a longer conversation about video game movies and the next main episode of the show. Um, but yeah, I was generally very pleased with it. I thought that the voice acting was very well done for the most part. I have some concerns about Idris Elba as Knuckles. I'll be totally honest with that one. Um, but overall, really enjoyed it. I liked it more than I was expecting to. And I kind of was neutral going into it. I don't think I was expecting it to be super good. I wasn't expecting it to be awful, but I was pleasantly surprised. Richard, what was your take?
So, I've been a pretty big Sonic fan all my life, and honestly, I was really skeptical about these movies because I saw the Mario movie and I died a little inside. I saw the Mortal Kombat movie and I died a little inside. And then I thought I was going to go see Sonic and die a little more inside and I'd finally just be completely dead. But the first one, I was pleasantly surprised with. I mean, they're still kids' movies, but they do throw in like the little bit of stuff for the older fans. Like I know in the first one, it was like little things like streets that were called like Mega Drive and stuff like that. And I was overall pleased with it. But then the second one came out, and my expectations were there. But honestly, I would say they slightly exceeded my expectations. I was pleasantly surprised with how decently thought out the characters were and how close they stuck to the origin stories of most of everyone. I mean, there was some questionable things like there's a lot of stuff that's just filler for like kids and stuff, but other than that, like the real meat and bones of the story, it wasn't too bad. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, Aaron, what was your take coming into it, and kind of elevator pitch? What did you think overall?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a similar story as both of you all. I definitely made sure to watch the first one before this was the second one. So few days ago, I did go to Target and they had it on sale for 9.99. I'm sure it's on streaming, but I sometimes just don't freaking care to incorporate the internet with my film watching. So I went on ahead and just spent the 9.99 on it, and it's a I found it to be a pretty decent Blu-ray pickup. So for a movie I haven't seen before. It entertained me. It just really made me want to play Sonic Adventures specifically. Maybe just because Sonic in the film is live action, so it's gonna be 3D, environments and all that. But so liking the first one, I was like, all right, cool. I feel the vibes that they're going bigger, badder, better with this sequel, and I felt they did. I felt this was better than the first. Maybe I don't know if it's because my expectations weren't that high, but I mean, again, I did like the first one, so I did go into this movie with trust that this was going to be better, and in my opinion, it was.
Yeah, I'd agree with that take. So if you're listening to this and you've not seen it and you want to go in absolutely with nothing, first off, why'd you click on this video? But second off, um, this is the point where we're going to start talking about the actual plot. And there's not a whole lot of spoilers to really mention, but we're going to feel free through this part of the conversation. So if you really just wanted general impressions and general takes on Sonic 2, this first couple of minutes is for you. The rest, we're going to break it down. So the plot kind of picks up right where the first one left off. And I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure I only saw the first one once, and it was like right after release. So I didn't watch it to refresh. I usually do before a sequel, but honestly, this one snuck up on me. So I just kind of went in cold, and um, it starts off with Jim Carrey's Eggman on a planet that he was abandoned on in the first one. Is that right, Richard?
Yes, but it is Jim Carrey's Robotnik, sir. This is
Well,
an
calls him
Eggman-free
Eggman.
zone. Well, technically his name was originally Eggman. They made it Robotnik for North American audiences. But shut up.
So he's both. He's referred to as both in this movie. So I think I can get away with it. But yeah, so basically he's trapped on this other planet, which I think is cool, by the way. I just want to touch on that because Marvel kind of opened the door, and I guess DC to a certain extent, to the multiverse. And it would have been super easy for this, like for Sonic and all these characters to have originated in another alternate reality, but they went with a different planet, and they established that lore in the first movie. And so I think that was interesting because, like, obviously we didn't have Spider-Man No Way Home when the first one came out. So now with that context, it's weird to see people like going through portals and stuff, and it's just, bouncing through planets instead of different realities. What did you guys think about the way that they kind of set the universe up in these movies with there being life on these other planets that can interact? Aaron?
I am not well versed on Sonic lore. I've, of course, been around the games my whole life. So it's just that I've picked up on, but so I knew Sonic definitely wasn't an Earthling, originally, if you may. So because of my lack of knowledge in how now I guess I can ask you both: are they planets in the games that they are from, or is it a different reality?
So I can expand on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Please
First, we
do.
gotta first we have to rewind the clock a little bit because back when Sonic was first being localized, the original story was basically Sonic lived on this place called South Island, and then Robotnik just showed up and decided to start making robots and whatnot. Well, when they localized it for America, they decided to take everything and put it on another planet, and the name of the planet was Mobius. That way it wasn't connected to Earth somehow. If you really want to dig deep, the original quote unquote Sonic Bible that Sega of America had said that Sonic was originally from Nebraska. And that's a real thing. But they never went anywhere with that, and that's just kind of side stuff.
I
But
don't believe you.
no, I'm dead serious. Look it up. I am 100% serious.
I will Google that at some point.
I mean, there would have been plenty of playing grounds for him to run around in Nebraska.
That's true. He could just dash through all the cornfields.
Yeah, rolling
Yeah, and the
around at the speed of
hills
sound.
and the Buffalo area.
Buffalo area, that's South Dakota, man.
Yeah. there,
Okay.
there, there's some buffalo out there.
Okay, well, I guess that's kind of true. Regardless. So, I actually saw a post on Twitter the other day saying that in the novelization of the Sonic 2 movie, Knuckles actually confirms that the planet that him and Sonic and Tails come from is called Mobius. So, when they were writing this, they kind of took inspiration from the Japanese lore and the American lore and just kind of combined it into two.
Very interesting.
Nice.
I honestly wasn't expecting to get that deep into the lore. I also didn't know that there was a novelization of this movie, but that is
Uh,
fantastic.
No, really, thank you so much for that. I really, yeah, I needed to hear that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can blow the lid off this entire thing. My
And you are
mouth is
welcome.
ready.
You are welcome to do so because I think Aaron and I are probably a little lighter on the Sonic lore. Um, but yeah, so basically, Robotnik is obviously obsessed with Sonic and he wants revenge on him. And he's messing around with the quill that he had from the first movie and creates essentially like an electromagnetic pulse across the galaxy that attracts Knuckles' attention. Knuckles comes in like Doctor Strange through the ring portal, and they decide to team up to find the Master Emerald. Knuckles wants Robotnik's help finding the Emerald, and then Robotnik wants Knuckles to use the Emerald to kill Sonic. I'm looking for confirmation here, guys.
So I would say what really happened is kind of the same thing. They lifted this plot point from Sonic 3. Because after Robotnik got his ass kicked on the Death Egg, he went back to Earth and basically found out about the Master Emerald. And so before Sonic and Tails could talk to Knuckles, Robotnik went and talked to Knuckles and said, "Hey, this evil dude named Sonic's gonna come steal the Master Emerald. You gotta stop him." And that's why Knuckles originally hated him. In this version, apparently there's some like weird rivalry between echidnas and hedgehogs, or at the owl people,
The
like
owls,
the
yeah.
owl, yeah, the owl lady that was taking care of Sonic at the beginning of the first one. Apparently, there's some deep-seated hatred there that they get into later. But all Knuckles really wants to do is find the Master Emerald, and Robotnik's ears perk up. He's like, "Oh, did you say Master Emerald? Is that like an all-powerful thing? I kind of want that." So he basically tricks Knuckles again into coming along for the ride, so that he can find the Master Emerald for whatever he wants to do with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like a mutually beneficial relationship that starts between Robotnik and Knuckles, where they're trying to find the Emerald. Meanwhile, Sonic is trying to be a version of Batman. Aaron, what did you make of Sonic's superhero? What did he call himself? It
Blue
was
Justice.
Blue
Blue Vengeance
Justice.
or whatever. Was it Blue Justice? I don't know what he said, but it should have me.
Blue Vengeance might have been copyright infringement, a little too close to the Batman.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, literally, yeah. No, all of that had me rolling in my chair. To be honest, I the Sonic brought the laughs to me. This whole film did way more than I thought. I didn't think I was gonna laugh much as I did. From many of the characters, human included. But yeah, I really enjoyed how they filmed Sonic, because he's popping all these jokes, not really taking this stuff seriously. But then when it's time for him to do something cool, he does something really freaking cool. Like when he dismantled that that truck, as fast as he could, so they would avoid crashing into a whole group of people. And it's using his speed effectively. I really think the film did that a lot. And also filmed these speedy sequences very well. The way they edited them was pretty nice to watch. So yeah, I thought it was cute how he was trying to become this hero that he clearly was way over his head trying to be. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the humor was something that I enjoyed more than I expected, which sounds similar to your experience because we were talking before recording. Like Jim Carrey is just doing his thing. I'm not even confident he got a script. I think he just kind of showed up and they put a camera on him.
Oh
If I'm
goodness,
being
yes.
totally honest, and then Ben Schwartz did a pretty good job. I mean, he's a funny actor in general, and I think he did a good job as Sonic in the first one. But I think he kind of continued that. Um, there's a lot of throwaway lines. I made a couple of notes.
Yeah.
What I have a note here. They make a reference to. I think this was in reference to the echidnas and the owls feuding for for years and years. And Sonic goes like Vin Diesel and The Rock, and
Yeah.
I lost it.
Well, and they did have a joke similar to that in the first one. Like when he takes the wheel from James Marsden's character and he goes like, "Oh, I'm Vin Diesel" or something like that. And
Oh, is The Rock president? It's that, yeah.
yeah, yeah, like yeah. I was like, okay, there's a lot of Vin Diesel and The Rock, references. It
Yeah,
made the
yeah.
theater laugh. Eh.
Well, those are popular movies. People know what it is, so it makes sense. Aaron, you also mentioned the way that they use sonic speed. Like they do the Quicksilver moments, where everything slows down, and so he's moving at like a normal pace, but everything else is slow around him to really demonstrate that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Richard, what did you make of the way that they showed all three of their powers in this movie?
So I think it was nice that they kind of went back to the OG lore about how all the characters worked together, because I think the best example would be like Sonic Heroes, because in Sonic
Yep.
Heroes, like Sonic is speed, Tails is flight, Knuckles is power, and that's pretty much what they did. But I also really enjoy the fact that they made Tails kind of like the inventor type that he originally was. Like, I mean, he built that plane. I know in like Sonic Adventure 2, he had his like own little robot he could walk around in and stuff. So I'm really glad that they went back to that rather than him just being Sonic's buddy.
Yeah, I liked that
Yeah.
too, and they really, they established Tails right off the bat as being that kind of, tinkerer who has the high IQ, really smart, but he also, like, makes mistakes, so I think, like, they did a good job of still conveying him as, like he's a kid, basically. So, like, he makes childish mistakes, and, I loved I'm not sure who, the voice actor was for Tails, but I actually really loved that
Honestly.
performance.
Yeah, Colleen O'Shaughnessy was the voice of Tails in Sonic Boom, and I feel like a couple other Sonic games as well. So they actually got the voice actor from the games, which a lot of people were actually really pushing for, because after she did the voice of Tails in the first one, there were rumors floating around that they might replace her, and it was like, "No, just keep her. Like, she's doing a great job. Just keep her there."
Yeah, yeah, I didn't know that, but that makes a lot of sense, because I thought Tails was the best acted character in the movie, because you really got that, like, sense of innocence, like, the admiration he has for Sonic, but still, like, even in, like, moments where the stakes are so high, Tails is still, like, like, really lighthearted, and I appreciated that. What did you make of the performances overall, Aaron?
Overall, yes. I was happy that they kept Tails' same voice. I thought that was very nice. Especially, I think that's a great message to send to companies like Nintendo that are going to be taking these kind of moves here soon. You know, some voices you
Chris
can
Pratt
you can go
cough.
ahead and keep. It's like, right? It's like, really, Charles Martinet is only having cameo appearances. Oh, okay, all right. Y'all got me with Charlie Day as Luigi, though. I'm showing up just for that. But
So
uh,
I'm gonna step in briefly here, because normally I would 100% agree with you about Charles Martinet, but the dude's old. Like, when it comes to doing like the OG Mario voice, a lot of times they're using archive recordings. Because if you like hear him try to do the Mario voice now, his voice is just kind of old and scratchy. So I understand why they're doing it. But Chris Pratt, are you fucking kidding me? Really?
uh, I appreciate that bit
Yeah.
of information. Now that helps me out a lot. Thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna use this as my window to jump in, about Idris Elba because I love him. I think he's an amazing actor. He's super talented, and I pretty much love him in everything that he's in. He did not work for me as Knuckles. I think
Interesting.
it
Continue,
just
please.
didn't work for me. So his voice, like, he just has this gravitas, right? Like, and it, I think it fit with what they were trying to portray Knuckles as this, like, very serious, individual that's like on a mission, and he's very focused on that end goal and completing that mission. And I get that, but it just didn't match up with, like, what I was looking at. You know what I mean? Like, I think in the games, Knuckles' voice is still a little softer than what Elba does in this movie. What did you guys think?
Hmm.
I'm more disappointed he didn't rap. What the hell? Where's that at? That's like the cornerstone of Knuckles right there. At least in Sonic Adventure it was, but, I mean, that would've been, like, a nice little bit of fan service.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just really
Uh,
interesting to me how many people have different standouts to them. For a lot, Knuckles was a standout, and for you, TJ, Tails was a standout. But that actually makes me admire this film a little bit more. That everybody can at least get their own thing out of it. Kind of adds a little more merit to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that's nice when they introduce these additional characters that, a lot of the time a lot of the audience is going to at least be somewhat familiar with Knuckles and Tails. Um and so for them to pay off, like, I did like Knuckles. It was literally just the voice that I didn't like. I thought, like, the the script, like the writing for Knuckles was good. It was just the actual performance didn't match up. And so it's absolutely nothing against Idris Elba. I just it personally wasn't like what I would imagine. And then I also just kind of sidebar because they they really make Knuckles super serious, like, for 80% of this movie. And then he ends up teaming up with Sonic and Tails, and he flips the switch. Like, he goes from, like, Avengers Thor to, like, Guardians 2 Drax, just, like, super dumb jokes, like the jokes about, like, "Nothing goes over my head. I will stop it," or whatever that Drax makes. Like, there's so many jokes like that that Knuckles just throws in at the very end. Did you guys notice that, or am I alone here?
you're 100% accurate there. I think what they were kinda doing was
Yeah.
going off if the Sonic Boom portrayal of Knuckles, because I know in that show, they dumbed him down a lot, and he was just, like, there mostly for jokes and just to be strong. And I would say I'm gonna say it's not him, like, purposefully trying to be dumb, it's him not knowing anything about Earth customs and just, like, being a warrior and only training to be a warrior and literally not doing anything else with his life. So everything he takes just super, super literally, like you said, like Drax and Guardians too.
Yeah, I made a note here. Sorry, Aaron. Go ahead. I was just gonna say one of the notes, I just looked it up, that I had was Knuckles goes, "I'm 1,000,000% muscle." And that just, like, screamed Drax to me, so I had to write that one down.
Oh, dot, dot, dot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, base of balls.
Ace of balls.
One quick side note, when he's talking about grapes, that's actually game lore. Like, the original, document Sega sent out said, "Yeah, Knuckles likes grapes." So they
I
just
think I
put that in
saw
there.
that. No, no, I like that. You hit on it earlier, Richard, but they were very accurate to the established game lore,
Oh, yeah.
in this movie, and I do appreciate that for sure. So yeah, so I mean, there's not a whole lot to the actual plot. It's obviously It's Knuckles and Robotnik trying to find the emerald, and so Tails and Sonic are trying to find it before them. Because Sonic is reminded of the owl telling him that the Master Emerald is dangerous in the wrong hands, and so the owls had believed that having it in anyone's hands was a recipe for disaster, and so that's why they had kept it away from the echidnas. But the echidnas, Richard, I might need you to tag in here. What was their like claim to the emerald? Like they're defenders of it or something?
Yeah, so in the original game lore, they were just defenders of it. Or if you want to get real deep, I know in like Sonic Adventure, the Echidnas were gonna like use it for warlike purposes, but both times it never really worked out for them, and it always ended up with Knuckles being like the last person who was sworn to protect the Emerald.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's basically the plot. So nothing too much there in with the A plot. I One thing I did actually really like that I thought added a lot of heart to the movie was the kind of B plot that they were going for with um I forget the characters' names, but James Marsden and his wife, who are like Sonic's quote unquote parents, and just that relationship that they were fleshing out in this one after kind of establishing it in the first one. I thought that was um, something that really softened things a little bit, and also gave some more character to Sonic, so he's not just this wisecracking blue blur all the time. It added a little more substance to him. Did you guys pick up on that as well?
Yeah, I think you made a really good point with that. For a second, I thought you were going to talk about the whole wedding subplot, and I was going to have to like leave.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
Oh God! Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
Although I will say that I don't know the actress's name, but the bride, she was in the first one as well, I gather, but she was hilarious. It just didn't make any sense what was happening with her. Aaron, you were saying something before I cut you off?
Well, it actually, now that we've put all this out, it actually just connects to everything I'm thinking, and that is, I did walk out. I didn't Okay, in the moment, I did not honestly have a problem with where they took the human characters and the human relationships that Sonic has in his life. Especially, he's getting older. We see him like literally out by himself trying to be, Batman, Blue Man. And so it's like, okay, this kid obviously wants to do some growing up. So, him kind of, them kind of pushing the humans off to their own adventure while Sonic is left alone to, endure this journey that's about to be bestowed upon him and needing Tails and Knuckles. I was cool with him, kind of going out on his own. It's kind of what he wants anyway. So to have the human characters just kind of be there when he needed them, various phone calls and little pep talks here and there, and then eventually they did connect um the entire plot. Still confused how the wedding was supposed to work out with catching Sonic, because that's where it ended up going. But it's like, it
Yeah,
was a coincidence that he had to use the ring to save Sonic from that avalanche. So, did they have some technology that helps them see into the future or something? Like, I don't know. Did I get lost there or what?
that was just literally government surveillance. Like the entire wedding subplot solely exists to set up the Guardian Units of Nations, or it's abbreviated as GUN, which
Gun.
is which is
Yeah,
a throwback to Sonic 2 because that's where that
yeah.
originates from.
Yep.
But yeah, literally the wedding subplot and all that solely exists just to set that up. And like the weird jokes about Olive Garden, which were probably the best part of that entire thing, because everything else was just kind of stupid.
Yeah, the wedding stuff didn't really make any sense, and the jokes weren't as strong anytime they were a part of that whole plot too. So I'm with you there. Um, but let's just cut to the chase here, guys. Let's talk about the pinnacle of this movie. It was what we were all waiting for since the first one, probably, and that is the appearance of Supersonic. Richard, what was
Oh,
your
yeah.
reaction?
I didn't think they were gonna go there. It honestly kinda caught me by surprise. Like, I knew that the Master Emerald was gonna be part of it and all that stuff, but I'm honestly pretty surprised that they were able to work the 7 Chaos Emeralds in there. Because if you want to get real deep into the lore again, when Sonic uses the 7 Chaos Emeralds, he's supersonic. But if he uses the 7 Super Emeralds, which were a thing in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, he becomes hypersonic. So I think they set up supersonic pretty well, but then the Chaos Emeralds just disappear. Like, what's that about? Like, how are they gonna get that working again in the 3rd movie?
Yeah, they went the Chaos Emeralds went the way of the Infinity Stones, and just poof. Uh, Aaron, what was your take on Supersonic and that whole sequence?
Again, as someone who has a lot of looking into with Sonic, Richard, best believe, after I watched the first one on Blu-ray, I didn't show TJ. I went straight to my PS3, loaded up the PSN store, and bought Sonic 1, 2, and Adventure 1 and 2. So I have some good shit to look forward to. And then still have Sonic Mania on the Switch and all that. So I'll definitely be getting into it. But I forgot Supersonic was a thing. So I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he does that and he's extra powerful and yellow and yeah, it was it was a nice reminder of something that I had forgotten that I had seen when I was a freaking kid. So it was cool.
I actually had a friend with me at the movies, and when he turned to Supersonic, this dude literally, like, stood up and started yelling, like, "It's Supersonic! Ah!" And it was a sight to behold. But before we continue, I gotta pause and rewind real quick because you just skipped over the single best part of fan service in the entire movie, and that is Labyrinth Zone. That was fantastic. The design of everything, they had the water slides, they had the crystals, they had the traps. That was perfect. I loved that.
I can't even think of what you're
Nice.
talking about.
No,
Really?
towards the
Really?
end, where they found the emerald and Doc and Robotnik and Knuckles was running through and they had all Indiana Jones shit was going
Oh, right, right,
down
right,
and
right.
and
Okay,
then
okay.
Sonic came and was sliding through everything, but didn't Sonic come in and just like kind of tumble his way in there or something like that?
Yeah, he literally came down on a water slide. I mean, if you go and you look up pictures of Labyrinth Zone from Sonic 1, it's like put them side by side. It's perfect. It's great. Like they really did their homework and I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is definitely cool. I didn't really even pick up on that. So it is cool to see someone who is more familiar with the games really enjoying that. So awesome. Well, something I did understand immediately, Captain America, was the post-credit teaser, which I'm super excited about because of how well done these first two movies have been. I'm confident not only that they will make a third one, but it will be done well and it will have Shadow in it. Richard, what's your take on Shadow? Are you excited to see him in a third movie?
I think that they set him up very well, and I think they set up the lore very well to kind of give some exposition as to why Project Shadow was a thing. But I think I'm more curious as to how this government agency knew about this secret project with a black hedgehog, and then were surprised that Sonic existed. Like, what's that?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a question I had myself.
Yeah, they just go, "Oh my god, Project Shadow," and I'm like, "Okay, so you're not surprised that someone figured out what Project Shadow was, but you're surprised that Sonic exists?" Like, I just
Yeah.
don't understand that connection there. But I will say, I'm gonna call this right now. I am willing to bet that in the next movie, when they start talking about the lore of it, I am gonna bet 100% right now, putting money on it, that they are gonna say that Project Shadow was started by Robotnik's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, because that is lore from ripped right from Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, I should
Mm.
say like most of my Sonic experience is from Sonic Adventure 2. Um, and so Shadow is a character I'm super interested in. I'm curious to see like how how deep they dive into his origin story because it gets a little weird. Uh, I feel like anytime that there's um, the human and the animal interactions, cough Sonic '06, things
Yeah, Maria.
get
That's gonna be
weird.
a thing.
So, but I am interested in seeing it because I love Shadow as a character. I hope he gets to run around with an assault rifle. That would be awesome.
That'd be
Or
fantastic.
maybe he will call Sonic a fake hedgehog, because that would also be awesome. These are my deep cuts from Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog.
Then the next Sonic movie is just gonna open up, and it's just gonna be one scene of Shadow walking around going, "Where is that damn 5th Chaos Emerald?" And then credits roll. That's it. That's gonna be the entire movie.
Yeah, I am excited about it because I think they again they did really well with this one. I think it improved off of the first one, and they've really built something here. So I'm pretty confident they can continue that. Um, before we wrap things up, I also want to mention what I constantly was thinking as I was watching was a highlight, was a real um, high point for this movie, and that was the soundtrack. There is a lot going on here. There's a Kid Cudi song that plays in the beginning, and also is the end credits song that I had discovered before the movie, but I like that. There's let me see. I made notes of the songs that really stood out. Here comes the hot stepper. That was funny. Uh, they do a dance off to Uptown Funk. That was noticeable. Barracuda, there was a little nod to the Sonic theme. I think it was a ringtone, was the Sonic theme song?
It was Green Hill Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Yeah, overall, I thought the soundtrack really stood out as well. Did you guys catch on to that and appreciate it like I did?
Yeah, I really did. Yeah. Yeah.
So, from a gamer standpoint, and as someone who, like, grew up with this, I would have liked to have heard like little quotes of like songs from the game in different places. Like when Sonic was snowboarding down the mountain, that would have been a perfect place to kind of shoehorn in some ice cap zone stuff from Sonic 3. Or when Robotnik builds the Death Egg robot, that would have been a really good time to like shoehorn in some boss music. Now I know they probably couldn't do that because of copyright purposes and whatnot, but overall, I was pretty satisfied with the direction that they went in.
Yeah, I think it added something, and I think they did a good job of kind of melding um, just good music with things that fit well, and obviously this is targeting a younger audience too, so music that is gonna appeal to kids and families alike. uh I thought they did a good job, and it was just something I wanted to make note of before we finish off here. So guys, I know this is hard to do sometimes, but if you had to quantify on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you rate this movie?
I gave it a 3.7 out of 5.
I'd give it a pretty solid 3. Like, it's a good movie if you're a fan of the series, but if you're an adult taking your kid to it and you don't know anything about it, I think you're gonna kinda be bored most of the time, and kids are gonna like it because, I mean, there's some decent stuff there.
Yeah, I think kids definitely would really like it. I know there was a few in my showing as well, and they were laughing pretty much throughout. So I landed pretty much right where you guys did. I would say probably about a 3.5 for me. Enjoyable, is it high cinema? Certainly not, but as someone who appreciates these characters and enjoys them, I was not disappointed, and I'm excited for at least one more movie, and hopefully Jim Carrey returns because, like I said earlier, I think he just has a blast as Robotnik, and so I could see him returning, even if he's not as high on acting anymore.
It's still on the box office right now, so
Yeah, let's not also forget, we gotta briefly mention Agent Stone because the weird little bromance between Robotnik and Agent Stone is actually pretty great.
That was
yeah, it
I
was.
liked the reference of how he had like a rock that he named Stone, and so it was literally a stone, and then he had like the moss beard as
Yeah,
basically his Wilson while he was cast away.
what killed me was the name of his coffee shop, the Mean Bean. Like, that's there's a
Yeah,
game called Doctor Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. That's just
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. I did pick up on that reference. Yeah, I was like, oh, let's see what he did there.
Yeah, there is a lot to unpack. Like I imagine, fans of the series like Richard are even more in depth I'm sure we'll tear this thing apart with all of its Easter eggs and references, and I'm sure there's a lot there. But overall, yeah, definitely a good experience. If for kids, for sure, we'll definitely enjoy it. Adults, if you have some sort of Sonic frame of reference going into it, it's probably going to work out better for you. But overall, it was a good one. Guys, thank you for joining me for this review episode. It was great getting your insight, and Richard, the lore. I really appreciate that from you as well.
Absolutely. This was a blast.
So that's gonna do it for this review episode. I want to thank Richard and Aaron again for joining me. If you enjoyed this review, we are actually going to be covering the broader topic of video game movies on the upcoming main episode of the podcast on Thursday. So it's definitely one that you will want to make sure to check out. Kind of break down what makes a good video game movie. You could say that's a rarity, and then what is a surefire way to have a bad video game movie, which is a much more common thing to see. So definitely an episode you'll want to keep your eyes on if you enjoyed this review. If you have not subscribed or followed the show, please do so. It helps us, and you can always follow us on social media as well. So until next time, take care.
Oh no.